Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Yo, set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 So life ain't easy, yo, I think there's a reason though. Ups and downs, just like every different season, yo. Sometimes I'm high, other times I'm barely breathing, though. You always gotta fight and hide from the demons, yo. Negative thoughts are poison, they rot. Head full of flies, so here come the clouds. They'll never stop unless I can swap all the bad for the good in my head when I'm lost. Yeah, so I'ma fake it till I make it. Positive thoughts are overtaken, I got patience. One day at a time is how you operate a cadence. A flow, you grow, you show yourself a foundation. Stay away from all the shit that causes temptation. I know that I like to do it cause it's sensation. I live my life in my head like a narration. Don't expect greatness, do my best, man, I'll take it. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Get breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.
Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club.
Good morning, everyone. It's nice to see you. We are covering the case of Sebastian Rogers. He's been missing from his home since February 26, 2024. According to everything that we have learned about this case, Sebastian Rogers was last seen on February 25th, 2024, while dining with his mother at a local steak restaurant known as the Texas Roadhouse. Allegedly, he left the Texas Roadhouse about 6:22 to 6:25 in the evening, and they proceeded their way home. We do have audio information confirming that Sebastian did in fact arrive to his house on Stafford Court the evening of Sunday, February 25th. Around 6 a.m. on February 26th, his mother allegedly awoke, went to go wake up her son, and found his bed empty. After looking around the home for several minutes, she ended up calling her husband, which was allegedly 3.5 hours away in Memphis, Tennessee, at what is dubbed the St. Jude's Project. Since then, the roads were filled up with a lot of law enforcement. A huge and massive search effort went underway to find Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. They ended up within 24 hours releasing an Amber Alert. We're learning a lot about these Amber Alert system and the strict criteria needed to get a person on the Amber Alert. So how is it Sebastian got on this Amber Alert without evidence of an abduction 24 hours after he was reported missing? These are a lot of questions that we have no answers to as we're working this case. What I can tell you is their statements have changed wildly. Here are a few examples of the wild changes.
He is asked, would he be able to ride a city bus?
Nothing is off the table as far as abilities. Could the young man get on a bus? I'm sure he could.
We've never done it before.
We've never rode a city bus, so I don't think he understands the process. He doesn't have any sense of money. He may have, like, let's say a $20 bill in his hand, but he doesn't truly understand what $20 would get him.
He's good
Right.
at it, but he doesn't
I understand.
time and money.
It seems awfully funny that, he just can't seem to take care of himself. He doesn't really know much. But when we hear his father talk about him, Seth Rogers, he describes his son more capable than we've ever heard. He says his son is so capable, he goes fishing, he can shoot a gun. There's a lot of stuff that Sebastian does that, from the information we had from the mom and stepfather, we wouldn't believe. And just recently, after the 1-year milestone of this young man being missing, the mom and stepdad come out and say there was a misunderstanding about their son and his capabilities. That's kind of odd. Let's listen to that.
With his autism, is there anything else that we should add that you want the public to know right now?
I would say that he is what they would consider high functioning. He's not, he doesn't struggle with verbal communication, but he does, he does struggle sometimes with expressing himself is, I guess, the best way that I could put that. But he's so smart and he's so capable, and that I think the initial image of him that was portrayed was misleading to an extent.
Yes, very much misleading to an extent. They're the ones that were feeding the public the information about their son. So why were they being so dubious in explaining the capabilities he had early on? They treated him, or put him into the minds of the people looking for him, that he had an infant's mind. And that is completely untrue. We're going to be diving into this and more today on the Bullhorn Betty channel.
I struggle to put words to how it feels, honestly. The amount of ups and downs, the amount of possible leads that haven't panned out. I miss him so much. So at this point, it's keep searching. People keep looking. Keep searching, keep looking. We keep putting up new flyers. I know a lot of places, they take them down after so long. We just keep going back and putting more up. I refer to my original request, just anyone that's willing, don't Don't let him become forgotten. Don't let him become lost in the next story. Not to supersede other children, because they all deserve just as much, if not more, attention, because all children do. But I would say just please don't let him become forgotten and lost, because we're never gonna stop. We're never gonna let that happen if we can help it.
And I hope you stick around to learn a little more about these mysterious statements from the mom and stepdad and the recanting thereof. God bless. Well, good morning, my beautiful people of YouTube. It is nice to see you. I finally brought my push buttons back to. Why does my thing is starting to make me upset? My mouse. It has, now it's connected. Every time I go to the settings, it's connected. Then it's unconnected. Then it's connected. Then it's unconnected. It's driving me up a wall. Happy Manic Monday to you all. Hopefully I'm not too close. Is that breaking your eardrums? Is my sound doing good? I'm back on my sound equipment. I haven't worked with my sound equipment in like literally a year. So please, please, please tell me if I'm too high, too low. Mic needs to be down, because sometimes I get loud, I get animated. We're behind here, we're pushing buttons, we're listening to crickets, we're doing all kinds of stuff here. But more importantly, we are always welcoming our family and our Looney Tunes. Welcome to the Insane Asylum. Guys, we have something special for you today, because I decided to take AI by the horns. We have a lot of Sebastian Rogers songs out there, but we have nothing for Sebastian's Army. Well, little girl decided to put something together, and we will play it. We will play it if we hit our goal. I'm going to give you guys a little teaser. If you guys want me to play more, let me know.
Your hated falters, fades like a ghost. While our bond grows, it matters the most.
Okay, guys. If you want to hear that, we will be playing that if we hit our goal. It is, I think, a great addition to the music that is out there, but it's specifically for the battle axes of the Sebastian's Army that get up every single day and go out and fight for this young boy. And we want to celebrate you and all of the people that are here to fight, to find out where he is, where he went, and to try to hopefully bring this boy home safely. We know it's been well over a year. We all know the statistics suck, okay? But what we have to do is we have to keep moving forward. So that is what we're doing. We're analyzing. We're going back, because I'm so sick of the hypocrisy. If this had been any other case, you wouldn't have these hate channels. It doesn't really matter. These hate channels profit off of hate and misinformation. So no matter what the case details are. Oh, thank you. After the storm, it's nice to see you. Sweet Betty, thank you for all you do. Amen. Thank you, Melanie. Thank you. Be great. You are all amazing. We're cranking that up. Oh, our beautiful Sonia. And we'll never give up. We will not give up. So let's go on ahead with our show. We'll come back and check, and we will play this song for Sebastian's Army. We really do care. We've learned to love a boy that we've never met. We've learned to be friends and learn. Well, we learned about him, which is great because we didn't learn this from the mom or her husband. We learned this from his caring father that has not given up and has not stopped fighting to bring him home and to find out what happened to his son. But there's a lot of people out there that should be recognized. There's literally so many people that have helped, that have fed information to your content creators to help give some backstory or some additional information. You guys are more boots on the ground. We pull in a lot of people when we cover these cases in depth from that local community that does not want their names or their information known, but they want to feed information to help garner a scintilla of information related to the case, but they don't want to be known to their community. They don't want to be called out, and they don't want the hate channels finding them. So we have given them a safe haven. We have helped them, prepare, not me, but others. We collectively, as the true crime community, make ways for them to be able to tell their story confidentially and away from these hate channels so they're not attacked. And we want to continue to promote that for the people that are locals, that are intimidated by whatever the case may be. I'm not going to go into what you could possibly be intimidated by, but we have been watching this train wreck of a case going on for at least 6 months. I think that's when everybody hit their head and went on the crazy train, is about the 6-month mark. Maybe it was the 4-month mark. I can't remember. It looked like we had a good unified unit of people until we started seeing them manufacture information, having people call into their show that was providing bad information that we could corroborate was absolutely 100% bad. And you're wondering, why does this keep happening as breaking news on certain content creators? And obviously you can make you can deduct that to being, well, it's funny that only one content creator or two content creators that are, that collaborate a lot together seem to be always having these breaking news things and having thousands of people rush to their channels, and it's breaking news until people start diving into it and find out it's bunk information. And we just, funneled and it's a racket. It was a racket. And so when we started calling people out on the racket, they could have come to the table and produced the receipts that, no, this is not a racket. No, we're not doing that. But what did they do? They ended up flipping sides and condemning anybody that worked on this instead of coming with fact. That shows integrity right there, because had somebody done that on this channel, we would have brought our receipts. We wouldn't have disclosed the sources, but we would have definitely stood on the hill and produced just something instead of flipping the script, switching sides because you got caught with your pants down and causing all this grief and havoc in a case that doesn't need it. So I think that really is part of this, but it definitely wasn't based on anything that has been provided or due diligence, because the mom and stepdad haven't provided us anything, right? They haven't provided us nothing. Seth, on the other hand, right? It's his son too. If law enforcement is telling them not to do this, not to say this, not to do, produce this, wouldn't they also be telling that to the father? It would seem that they would. So why are we just supposed to take their word for it, but we have to produce receipts for Seth? And even when we would produce those receipts for Seth, people tried to act like they were fake or fraudulent or fraud, because they didn't want to have to acknowledge that they were wrong. So now what are they doing? Oh my gosh, all of a sudden, they want to have a better image in the public square. They didn't mind having a crappy image when they went and ran away from home, went to different states while literally law enforcement and strangers were looking for their son. Now, they're military trained. We did learn on this Hot Mess Express of this interview or whatever that god awful thing was on those two TikTokers' new YouTube channel. Those two TikTokers that are now warring together. I wonder why. Fraud does a lot. It has a way of tearing some relationships apart. I'm just saying. Has a way of tearing relationships apart. That big old F word. That's why I don't do illegal activity. I left that in my 20s. Thank God most of the stuff I did that I didn't get caught for back in my 20s, the statutes of limitations have run out. Have they? No, I'm just joking. Good grief. Good grief. But seriously, we have some major problems, but the focus that we're going to have today is based upon this misunderstanding, right? We've had a misunderstanding going on about Sebastian. I remember when I was speaking to his father, I remember saying, you can't tell, there's something wrong. You can tell he's got some type of speech. And it was based on a little tiny clip, right? And as you know, the more I spoke to Seth, the more he let me, because that's all he talks about. Okay. He's not talking about how crappy his day is because the hate channels are beating him up. He just doesn't care. I mean, he cares. You can't tell me that somebody that hears this crap that comes off here doesn't care. But when it comes to his son, he doesn't care. That type of I don't care. Not that it's not hurtful, not that it doesn't bother him, just that he's got bigger fish to fry. So over this course of learning about his son and, having a connection with Seth, that has developed into a friendship. Like I like talking to Seth, not just about his son, just to check on him and find out how he's doing mentally, So occasionally I'll call and I won't even really have whole lot to say other than how are you doing, right? But prior to that, it was all about his son, right? And even now, when he tries to talk about his son, I try to kind of, just get him to talk about himself. And it's hard. You understand that? These people have no problem talking about themselves. And even almost a year later, it's like pulling teeth for him to say other than he's fine. Now, I'm not going to go in any other conversation other than that, but that's the truth behind it. That's the truth behind it. And so when I was learning about Sebastian, he kept correcting me. Hey, allegedly with Brittany J. It's nice to see you, Lovebug. I hope you are doing well. He was the one that kept correcting me. He was the one that started telling me. He went fishing with me. I took him to the shooting range. Now, who is going to put a loaded gun in an infant's hand? Raise your hand if you're comfortable with a gun being in an infant's hand. Clearly, this child was not an infant. Clearly, this child had a lot more scruples than his mom and stepfather, mom and mom's husband gave this poor boy credit for. Now, we heard going into this, and I'm going to play it all again because I think it is I feel like it is a perfect example of some of the stuff we're talking about. On one hand, they're feeding a lot of information about Sebastian and his disabilities, him not being able to figure out money, him not being able, even though he gets on a school bus every day, but somehow, a regular bus, he couldn't possibly, we never done that before. I don't think, my little infant child would be able to know how. And then a year later, out of all the interviews these people have done, all of them, a year later, we find out how capable, we learned how capable he was from his father almost a year ago. Okay? So you can imagine my surprise when it was finally vomited out of the mom and her husband's mouth. And that's what I've got to say. Like, this is, where did the misinformation come from? Don't forget to take the poll, y'all. Don't forget to take the poll. And if you guys are just coming into the channel, we are kind of devoting this whole segment on Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. We do have a lot of breaking information not on this case, but we have a lot of breaking information on other cases that are going on around the country. And we are going to be on Bullhorn Betty Crime Stories at 12:30 today to go over other news in the news. And I hope you guys come over and join me on the Crime Stories channel. If you haven't subbed up for that channel yet, please consider subbing up. It's a great channel. I don't use it as often, but now that we're having such an uptick in a news cycle, which we haven't had in quite some time, I don't want to take our focus cases off this platform. I'd rather move to the other channels so we're not getting too far away from information. So we'll be using this channel here to cover Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers and Dane Crystal Rogers and Brian Koberger, and we're going to be using the Crime Stories channel to kind of run other breaking news cases that you need to know about. I did drop a plane video here. This is another plane that went down in Pennsylvania. It sounds like there was, I don't know how this plane went off with their door open, but that's what we heard was going on, that this plane took off without closing its door and caused this problem. We'll get some more information on that. Again, you're going to want to join me on Crime Stories. Now, we also, for those that are also coming in, we have prepared a new soundtrack for Sebastian's Army specifically. And we have a teaser. I'll play the teaser for you now. If you guys are interested in listening to the entire clip, let me know. I will be playing it if we reach our goal today. And I hope you guys enjoy it. And this is for us, the Army, Sebastian's Army. That's what you get. That's what you get. That's all you're getting. That's all you're getting. Okay? That's all you're getting. That's all you're getting. So we got a lot in our sound. Oh, sorry. I hit the wrong button. We have a lot in our sound, but that is one of 2 Sebastian Army songs. I hope you guys like them. And we will be producing those, and I will be making a video with the soundtrack. But it's going to be very powerful. It's very pumping. I think it kind of embodies Sebastian's Army. So hopefully you guys support the release of the song. All right. So now we're going to get over to the topic of conversation, which is Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers and how in the world we got this so wrong. How did we get this so wrong? Right? Oh, thank you, MJ. I love it. I love it. People want more. They want more. We are Sebastian's Army, and this song is dedicated. We have a lot of Sebastian songs out there, but we don't have a lot to empower the Army. Now we have Sebastian's Army song, and it's for you and everybody here that has been fighting to find out answers about Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. Now let's get into how did we get so mixed up on who Sebastian is as a person? How did that happen?
And you did tell me that Sebastian is not a runner.
He's not.
It's okay. Take your time.
Sebastian does not have a history of running. The young man doesn't go outside.
The young man, sorry, the only way I can mute myself is turn my mic down, and I forget to turn it back up. I got a lot of equipment here, okay? So bear with me. So that right there, he doesn't go outside. Why doesn't this young boy go outside? We are watching all of these releases of these photos and pictures of when Sebastian was younger, and it sure looked like he enjoyed being outside, did it not? If you believe he enjoyed being outside, put a 1 in the chat. If you think he just liked being all alone by himself in a dark room, by all means, put a 2 in the chat. Oh, thank you, Robin. We're moving on up. We're almost there. We're almost there, y'all. We're almost there, y'all. Exactly. So the new rounds of photos that are going and just filling. I mean, I love seeing pictures of him. Don't get me wrong. I love seeing photos of him. I like seeing him smile, and I'm glad that there were good times in that house. Don't misunderstand what I'm saying. I'm very thankful that he had those experiences and those memories. But how many of those memories pale in comparison to what was going on behind those closed doors? That's the question. Now we know that there's 5 CPS reports, and that in and of itself is very disturbing. And then you hear statements like this about how he didn't like being outside. Well, he sure looked like he enjoyed riding a bike. Where's that bicycle? Why in the world do we not have more of him being outside instead of neighbors telling us they barely even knew a child lived there? It looked like he surely had a big, beautiful smile on his face when he was riding that bike. Or how about using that large equipment? He seemed like he really enjoyed that, didn't it? So why was he always inside? And why was he always in trouble?
Very much. I mean, everybody in the neighborhood knows him. He is very to himself, so to speak. Between the hours of 12 and 6.
Let's go back to that. I just want to give a good shout out and a beautiful shout out to all of my beautiful mods that are in here. I see Pebbles is in here. Sonia is in here. We have Pussy Willow Pendercat is in here. We have the Real Me Too. I saw the Real Me Too. And I know B Betty fan, if she's not in here, she will be in here, or she might be hiding in the bushes. Allegedly with Brittany's in here. It's nice to see you. And a shout out to all of my creators, allegedly with Brittany, Smiley Story World. I haven't seen her this morning, and Justin for all, along with Josh at the lab, and Chris with the mob crew, which I don't really see them in here, but I did want to give them a shout out and thank them for all their work on this case. So we're going to go back just a little bit on this, just to hear that statement again, because it does bother me. It's something we haven't picked up, but it does bother me. So let's listen. I went back about 15 seconds, guys.
Everybody in the
Hey,
neighborhood
Guidance.
knows
It's nice
him.
to see you, Love Bug.
He is very to himself, so to speak. Between the hours of
Let's go back. Go back.
and doesn't go outside.
Oh, let me go back.
Sebastian is not a runner.
Here we go.
He's not.
It's okay. Take your time.
Sebastian does not have a history of running. I mean, the young man doesn't go outside very much. I mean, everybody in the neighborhood knows him.
Doesn't go outside. Thank you, Grave Crime with Grace. It's nice to see you. I think we need like 1.5 more because we got B grade. I know that it probably doesn't say we got Peggy. So to make that, we're going to count that as 1. So I don't know where we are on that, but we will play it in one way or another. I'm gonna end up playing it. So we've got about 6. No, we got 7 so far. We got 7 so far. So we need 3 more. We will play it. Let me get through this segment and we'll get that played. I think you guys will enjoy it and will absolutely love it. It is for all of you. And I hope you guys do enjoy it. And it's a kick butt song. I don't want to offend our cuss jar czar here, Miss Sonia. Just saying. But we do want to give you guys all a clap. This is a sad story, and we were hearing stuff that we didn't understand what we were hearing all the way back to since the first interview.
Sebastian does not have a history of running. I mean, the young man doesn't go outside very much. I mean, everybody
doesn't go outside very much. You know what? When I was a teenager and I was in the house and and it was the weekend and Mama had to clean that house, I didn't have a choice whether I was going outside or not. She kicked me and my sister out to the front yard. She told us to get out of her house. She's got to clean. And us girls are just too messy. We're too messy. I'm not going to tell my mama to admit it because she probably wouldn't admit it, but I'm telling you, she kicked us out of the house. She told us to go play. Now we were about Sebastian's age, maybe like a year or two younger, but definitely old enough to be kicked out of the house and go ride our bikes. Just saying.
Neighborhood knows him. He is very to himself, so to speak. Between the hours of 12 and 6, he has basically vanished. Walked out of the house, the door was locked and gone.
He didn't take a phone. None of his shoes are missing.
And don't you think maybe this might, oh, thank you, Donna. Thank you. God bless you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Don't you think that this might be the reason that they had to start, potentially feeding that information into the story about his incapabilities? Because he didn't take his shoes, because he didn't take anything with him. And it was really odd, the placement or the learning of this flashlight he allegedly took out of the house. We didn't learn about that until a little bit later. And I think it was like around the March 14th or shortly before, shortly after the March 14th video, which captured lights on the outside of their house, like in this common area between like 3 or 4 houses. There's a block of grass that is not part of anybody's, I guess, property. It's just a common area in the community that's not really owned by anybody. And in that common area, that's where the flashlights were seen, but it was kind of on the side back of the Proudfoot home that kind of came past 2 neighbors' homes and to a unknown vehicle. And I'm going to say vehicle because there's a lot of interpretations of whether it was a car, whether it was a SUV, whether it was a pickup truck. I do trust Mob Crew's analytical and analysis quite quite a lot, but I haven't seen anything that says that's the car. So I'm still not, on the mindset of a sedan yet. I'm still up in the air. I'm still believing it could literally be anybody, but we do know it's a vehicle. I'd like to keep it in the vehicle. I know I interchange vehicle and car just like many of you do, but in the reality in my brain, I don't know what the make and model of that vehicle is. But it's an unknown vehicle that was seen in the neighborhood about between 3 o'clock and 3:30 in the morning, maybe a little before, maybe a little after, because we're basing that upon somebody else's preview of the video, that because we don't have the whole video, but the owner does, and people in the neighborhood that have seen that video know that this event happened at this time, and about 2 hours later you see the garbage truck come into the neighborhood, and that's usually at the same time. We have that captured on the 26th is coming in the neighborhood somewhere around 5 o'clock in the morning. 5:09 was when a neighbor caught it. Thank you, Lele. It's nice to see you. Thank you for keeping Sebastian's name out and keeping out and never giving up on precious Sebastian. I'm not going to give up on Sebastian. None of us are giving up on Sebastian. We are warriors. We fight. And we fight legally, and we fight hard. And so that is what we're doing in this case. I never anticipated it resulting with me being in jail, especially when I only recorded things in my own private vehicle. But whatever that case may be, we all know the story behind that. We all know the reasons behind that. And I do believe it was a distraction. I believe we were getting close to something. What? I don't know. Maybe we need to take a dive back into what we were discussing the 2 weeks prior to, and maybe we'll do that. Maybe this week. I've got to look at my schedule, but it looks like we might be able to do that on Friday, hopefully, depending on my week this week. Thank you so much, Gypsy. It's nice to see you. It's nice to hear from you too. I know you're here all the time, but I don't like when I'm going through these things and I'm strict on time, or I have a time constraint. I miss a lot of people. So Thank you for your love and your support. And I hope you are doing well. And I hope to see you really soon. I missed you for the vigil. And I got to tell you, all I wanted to do was give you a hug, see a friendly face and give you a hug. So thank you for gifting 5 Bullhorn Betty memberships. If you received your gifted Bullhorn Betty membership from Gypsy, please tell her thank you and welcome to this crazy crew we call the Coffee Club, i.e. the Insane Asylum. And if anybody knows, if this is your first time here, I don't know if you've heard of Justin for All, Clutch Them Pearls, but if you haven't, you have to go over there and check him out. He has this chicken party, which is what I coined the mullet party from, right? Okay, I'm sorry. I'm honest. What can I say? What can I say? I love Justin. And, you know, he has this one little spot that says, Chris, Chris. I can't do it without screaming in your ears. I'm sorry. Let me turn this down just a little bit so I'm not so loud. But he says, Chris, or something like that, right? Okay, let me turn my mic back up. And I swear, the way he does it, it sounds just like this. This is what Brown Eye Girl sent me. And it's a funny goat scream for stress relief. And I tell you, when I heard it, the first thing out of my mouth is, "Oh my gosh, this sounds so much like Justin and the chicken party." I'm so happy to have my buttons back. I'm so happy to have my buttons back. Thank you so much, Gypsy. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And Gypsy has a YouTube channel here. If you guys have not subbed up to our YouTube channel, I definitely recommend you going over there and checking her out as well. Thank you so much. And we have Panda Bear's mom, 1971. Thank you. Thank you for all you do. Hug Sebastian Army. We are warriors to fight to find Sebastian. Never give up. Amen to that. Amen to that. So now we're kind of in this interview with Duchess. And, you know, they're talking about what happened. I'm trying to get past that because in this, they start talking about Sebastian, right? What Sebastian likes and dislikes. And you kind of hear some things here that goes to the confusion of the entire situation when you hear the most recent interview stating that there was a misunderstanding on, and they're curious how this misunderstanding happened, you know, that they just believe in the flow of things. It had nothing to do with the fluidness of the situation. It didn't. You know why it didn't? Sorry, I'm trying to research something. Let me wait until it's done. There we go. It was thinking. So when it's thinking, it does something to my my lip syncing on here. So let me see. Okay. Let's go down. I got to find this. Okay. Give me just a second. Let me get to the part. Want to get past all the stuff. Okay, so we're at the very beginning, or this day, we're at the 23-minute mark. Because they were talking about him not being a runner, and then all of a sudden Chris kind of came in and started just going right down the let's listen to this. Let's listen to this one, this part here.
Did you have any idea what would make Sebastian want to suddenly leave the house? And you told me, well, that's
all right. So we're gonna go back to this, and we're gonna try to find the location. This is over a 2-hour interview with the parents. This is the very first interview, our very first introduction to the Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers case with a parent. And I think that this is super important. But I also find it odd because Chris has been always controlling, and let me go make sure I have these dates correct. Chris is very, very controlling and wanted to make sure he controlled what Seth was doing, what Seth was saying. And they even got in a fight because Seth's sister, without any type of instruction, decided to go ahead and set her brother up a GoFundMe to help him out with living expenses while he was searching for her son. And many families do that just out of, it's just our culture. It's where we go whenever something major, a catastrophic thing happens to people's lives. This, group type of fundraising has really, crowdfunding is what they call it, has really grown over the last few decades, or at least decade and a half. And so when people need or have a story to tell or have a product to sell, they can go to these crowdfundings to fund their idea, or in a case like this, help with expenses on a life-changing event. And this is a life-changing event, and his sister was not wrong in doing so. If it was my family, I would have set up the same thing. If it was your family and you knew that this was going to be a catastrophic event, you'd be doing the same thing. But somehow or another, the stepfather got very upset. And this is what I kind of find a problem with, is because I know for a fact they wanted Seth not to say this and not to do this. You guys remember all that at the beginning? If you didn't, you need to go back to the stuff before the Bullhorn Betty show was even involved in this case. They were already being harassed, yada, 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 yada. But they didn't want Seth going on the news, right? And then all of a sudden, they have to be the first one that's heard on the news. We know that something happened in this case. Now we're all the way back to from the time Sebastian is reported missing to their first interview, which is this Dutch's interview, which happened on March 3rd, 8 days, 7 or 8 days after Sebastian was reported missing. So we know that we've heard Chris talking others about how they had an understanding on how they were going to attack this, and something happened, right? Something happened. Well, it was the GoFundMe that happened, because that's when they started fracturing and breaking apart. Chris kicked Seth out of the house like over a GoFundMe. You've got a 15-year-old child missing. Who gives a rat's ass about a GoFundMe? I'm sorry, that's just the first thing that comes to my mind. I'm just a normal Joe. That's the way I think. I have to think a lot of normal Joes think the same way. Who gives a crap? You got a missing child. But I find it funny that they were the first that had to, when this case was moving from the ground searches into the investigative side of the case, that's when they jumped into action. But they all three didn't jump into action, did they? No. Chris and Katie had to be the first that got out around this. And that is a critical information. They had to get on Dutch's on 3-3, Holly Thompson on 4-4. Then Seth finally sat for an interview in the afternoon of March 4th. I find that funny because we know who the original puppet masters were, because the breakdown was because Seth wasn't following what they needed them to follow. So it also comes back around to the most recent that October interview that we watched, that was a hot mess express from those ridiculous TikTokers that are now warring with each other. They had him up there, and he makes some statements that changes our perspective of some things. So we will get to that. Let's get back to Duchess. Let's hear what they have to say. I'm having some technical issues. I don't know what's drowning.
Yeah. So it's always good to have that awareness and to make sure you're monitoring, what your kids are doing. So I had asked you both, did you have any idea what would make Sebastian want to suddenly leave the house? And you told me, well, that's the $1 million question that everybody wants to know. All the detectives, they've all asked that same question. What is it that happened that caused him to leave the house?
Before he answers, if you guys hear some feed through my microphone, it is raining at my house. I can't really control that, so if it gets too distracting, just let me know, and I'll turn my mic down between the discussion and the video.
And I know you must be so worried and so concerned. Is there anything, if Sebastian were listening to this live stream right now, if you knew that he was out there, what would you want to tell him?
That we love you and to come home.
Okay, I'm not even going to comment on that. Out of all the conversations they have, she was able to turn that on just like that. I'm just saying.
I mean, it's pretty simple. This boy has a very large family that everybody is asking the question, where are you? We love you, and please come home.
Yes. We definitely need to find.
Did you hear how Duchess said, yes, like they nailed it? I mean, that's the way it sounds like it's coming from her, because she kind of went dormant on this case. And I have to think that has a lot to do with people finding out she went to a motorcycle rally with them when people are searching for these people's son. I find that completely repulsive.
Question, where are you? We love you, and please come home.
Yes. We definitely need to find him as soon as possible. If you live in this area, please search your property every day. He could be on the move. Just because you've already searched your property one time
blah, blah, blah,
doesn't
blah,
mean.
I mean, he loves to play. I give
okay,
him
let's go back here. Let's.
Not your common one. I mean, me and the father's life, the relationship between all three of us as parents is not your common one. I mean, me.
Now, at this point, I just want to remind everybody, at this point, they knew that there was a major fracture between them, because you can't dismiss the fact that they kicked Seth out of their home. Why is this so important to me? Why am I focusing on that when our conversation is about how we got misrepresented information or misunderstood information, right? And I think all that misunderstood information came from well, we'll get to the poll. Let me go ahead and pull the poll real quick. Let me not lose my train of thought here. But he knew that this was a fractured relationship when he gave this interview. Yet he's trying to act like there is, they have a good relationship. Why is this important? Because most people, let's take the laundries, for example. Okay, let's take the laundries, for example. Another case that I dove in feet first, have content the world has never seen about that case, period. I've got content that the world has never seen about that case. No production company, nobody. Only the people that were there and were boots on the ground and visualized that have the content. I've got content nobody else has, because there was a lot of times when all the cameras were either focused on the reserve, Carlton Reserve, or the Myakkahatchee Creek Environmental Park, or the house. Well, you all know that I was out there with a bullhorn, and we raised our voices for 5 minutes on the top of the hour. So from whatever the hour is, whether it's 8 o'clock, we'd go from 8 to 8:05. We had it worked out with law enforcement that would allow us to have that 5 minutes at the top of every hour. The rule that we've approached them with is we will not overdo the 5 minutes. And so we came to those terms. Those worked out well. Most of the houses that were around there were rented out by the news organizations, and the people left their homes and allowed the news organizations to camp on their front yard. So that's kind of the whole situation there. But the laundries, when Gabby's parents called, they ended up talking to them at first, and then all of a sudden they hung up the phone, blocked their calls, and refused to answer anymore. And I think that is important, because as we now know, we knew that, we told the audience that, People that wanted to believe the information we were giving them, they believed it. The ones that didn't wouldn't believe it until it came out 3 years later that the mom and father knew that their son had unalived Gabby and were trying to conceal it, moreover, trying to help him escape responsibility. So there are behaviors we can attribute to some of the behaviors that we've seen in the Sebastian Rogers case that does not look very favorably to the mom or her husband. And I believe that this is one of them because we now know hindsight's 2020, right? We now know that this was a fractured relationship, that he was trying to create this facade for the public that was more favorable than it truly was. Now, let's go to the poll. I'm going to go ahead and in the poll now. Let it roll up. I'll let you know what the poll numbers are. Okay, so before we roll through, the who caused the misunderstanding about Sebastian Rogers' ability? The mom and or husband, the dad, Seth Rogers, and law enforcement. Well, we can see that the hate channels are not paying attention on a Monday morning. Must be in all the booze they were drinking on the weekend, because usually our off is about 20%, and we're not there. So we have 79% that believes the mom and the husband were the direct result of the misinformation. We got 13% that is still beating up on the father, which has done nothing but tell us all of his abilities since the very beginning, but we have 13%. So we lost 7% of the hate channels. I wonder why. I wonder if we're kicking them off with common sense. And then 6% believes that it was a misunderstanding from law enforcement. Well, I can honestly tell you that I don't think it was a misunderstanding from law enforcement, because we never really got any detailed information about Sebastian Rogers from law enforcement, about his personality, his abilities and inabilities. We only learned that from his mom and stepfather until Seth started coming live and specifically speaking about the misinformation that's being spread around about his son. He wanted to make sure people knew that his son was keeping up with the people in his grade. He was not a dumb kid. He was a very smart, very intelligent child, and he's had that statement since I can remember. I got involved in this case in the middle of March, like the late beginning, like around the 12th of March, I think it is. I thought it was originally the 16th, but I'm doing some research and realized that I got involved on the 12th. And then everything's, from that point, I think by April, I had a conversation or two with the national spokesperson, Tony Mathis. And then I started having some communications with Seth, and Seth was making sure he corrected me. Like he would get really upset if I got things wrong about his son. He would always correct me about the abilities of his son. His son was smart. His son was intelligent. And he loved doing things, fishing, hiking, going to the parks. I guess not hiking, but going to the parks and playing, going to the gun ranges and shooting. He was learning to. You don't give an infant or somebody incapable of understanding gun safety a loaded gun. Okay, so that tells you the faculties that Sebastian had. He was smart. He was smart then. He's smart today. And so the only place that I got the information related to Sebastian before I started talking to Seth was the mom and her husband. That's the only people that were giving us information on who Sebastian was at the time. So let's listen.
Me and the father talk on a regular basis. We call each other. We talk. Hey, if we heard anything, how's he doing? Is he acting up? I mean, it's not. There's no really animosity in between the parents.
That's good. That's good. Discover.
And that was a flat out lie when he was on here, because at this moment in time, there was a lot of animosity going on behind the scenes that this man and woman knew about.
In the truth. Thank you for being here. They say Did he have any special interest, like trains, parks, friends, maybe a school bus route that he loved? My son elopes and loves trains, so he heads to the tracks.
He loves playgrounds.
Yeah, he loves playgrounds. I mean, he loves to play. I'll give him that.
He loves to play and he loves playgrounds. But just at the beginning, not even 10 minutes before this, he says that he does not go outside. How can it be both ways? We are just focusing on Sebastian here. This whole entire show is about Sebastian and making sure that we have very good understanding of who he is, because he is still out there. Yes, Lois, extremely capable. And when we say extremely, we mean extremely capable.
Friends wise,
He wants friends.
Sebastian, his idea of his friend is right now is what he has 2 kids that he talks to at school.
See how dumb these people are making this child sound? This is a perfect example of what this entire show is about. Hey, Cajun Astrology, it's nice to see you, loves.
But he is extremely socially awkward, and so it's very difficult for him to make friends, which has been this boy's only lifelong dream.
Is there any misunderstandings where this information is coming from? This is the very first recorded interview of either of these parents.
Christmas, what do you want for Christmas? I want friends. Birthday, I want friends. Anything that he could do to get a friend, he would love to do it, which is potentially dangerous because that could open up doors if for somebody to say, hey, I'll be your friend, and potentially cause harm.
Yeah, because I guess isolation is so much better for the psyche.
Kim Holmes asked if there's any cameras in the area, and I did see, Kim, that they were asking for people that had any Ring doorbell footage or any businesses that had camera footage.
That's because this area did have very good internet. They have a great internet infrastructure in this area.
Talk to us about that, Chris. We did speak about that briefly earlier about the people getting all the footage, but they haven't found anything.
Our entire neighborhood,
Mm-hmm.
there was only one phone that he had.
Okay, that's good.
It was
good. Because for being here, have burner phones been looked into? I know some teens sneak phones from their parents or maybe his computer.
They're explaining this boy is incapable of just about anything. So I'm very interested in this response on they don't believe he can get on a bus because they've never done that with him before. Let's see what they have to say about this.
Computer use at school to
We
see
haven't
if he
able to
has
find
been
any
chatting.
evidence of a secret phone.
Okay, good. Because digital evidence is really important. They want to make sure that he's not speaking to anybody. This is such an unusual case.
This case is extremely unusual. Like I said before, we are pretty strict when it comes to certain things.
Strict? You wouldn't let the boy go outside. I'm not listening to that horse crap.
Okay. And I know Ginger Snap said is law enforcement looking into the possibility that he met a friend through Minecraft. I hope that they would just go ahead and vet all of that just to make sure, because you never know. I'm not really sure how all of that works because I'm not a gamer, but I know that there are ways that you can communicate like via Xbox because my son is a gamer. So
why her son even got the snakes taken away from her husband to begin with is bizarre to me. Because he was blamed for that. But they on here for several months acted like he was incapable of even taking care of himself. So why would they entrust him with all these animals unless he was capable of taking care of the animals?
And Gabrielle, I believe that you guys were at the Costco on Saturday. That's when you took the picture of him, correct?
Yes, my wife was at.
Oh, okay. He answers the question again for her. All right. So now let's go over to this interview with WSMV. Give it a second. I caught my, there we go. This interview with WSMV and see, let's listen to what misunderstandings we have. I think I've got it back to where it needs to be, but I might have to adjust it because I played it for obviously the intro video coming in. I want to thank everybody. If you're just tuning in, we have a new song that we are going to be playing here in just a little bit. Let me get here. We have I think we're missing about two because I think we collected. I know the goals doesn't collect like they're supposed to for some reason. I'm not sure, but we will be playing the new song for Sebastian's Army. If we meet our goal, it looks like we need two more to meet our goal, and then we'll be playing that after this.
So at this point, it's keep searching. People keep looking. Keep searching, keep looking. We keep putting up new flyers. I know a lot of places, they take them down after so.
And I received an email from somebody that's in their community that has been going around and replacing flyers, and they are reporting to me that they are being torn down. They're not being replaced or taken down. They're being torn down and thrown on the ground. So I just wanted to provide that insight as well.
So long. We just keep going back and putting more up. I refer to my original request, just anyone that's willing, don't let him become forgotten. Don't let him become lost in the next story, not to supersede other children because they all deserve just as much, if not more attention, because all children do. But I would say just please don't let him become forgotten and lost, because we're never going to stop. We're never going to let that happen if we can help it.
With his autism, is there anything else that we should add that you want the public to know right now?
I would say that he is what they would consider high functioning. He's not, he doesn't struggle with verbal communication, but he does, he does struggle sometimes with expressing himself, is, I guess, the best way that I could put that. But he's so smart and he's so capable, and that I think the initial image of him that was portrayed was misleading to an extent. And I think that in the chaos of trying to get the initial information about him out, that various things got taken and misconstrued.
Well, again, for me, we've only been playing their comments. I didn't get who Sebastian is from law enforcement. I originally got the information from them. We played it over and over and over, where we had this preconceived notion of who Sebastian was, and had it not been for his father, his dad, Seth Rogers, I don't think she'd be making this statement right now. If Seth Rogers was absent out of Sebastian's life, how much more misunderstandings would or could we have? We won't know, but I can tell you the clarification of who Sebastian is has always came from his father, and I'm glad to see the mom and the stepfather have joined in to give their son a little dignity after they stripped it from him.
I would just tell everyone that he's smart, he's capable, he's funny, he's able to speak to you and to recognize things. You know, he's a teenager, and
so he's a young man, honestly. He just had a birthday, and I'm sure that his mustache is coming in more. I mean, he really is a good kid.
What do you miss most about your son?
Oh, God.
She's rubbing her nose, but there's no snot or tears coming down her face.
I miss his smile. I miss his laugh. I miss going and doing fun things with him. I miss taking him to get a haircut and him saying, "Mom, feel my head." I miss cooking dinner with him. I miss game nights.
I don't know a woman that can keep a straight face after not seeing their child for a year. I mean, I could be just terribly wrong. It could be my own. Oh, thank you, Nikki's Forever Nikki's mom gifted a Bullhorn Betty membership. If you received your Bullhorn Betty membership, don't forget to tell Forever Nikki's mom thank you. And whoever received that gifted Bullhorn Betty membership, welcome to this family, i.e. the Insane Asylum. All right. So again, this is a child she hasn't seen in a year, and it's hard because when we look at Riley Strain's mom, now again, Riley Strain is a 22-year-old college student, okay? A 20-year-old college student. And his mom could barely get Boo out. Boo. Let me get to this point. And I want you guys to hear what a grieving mom sounds like and looks like. Now, this is the way his mother has been since the day she found out her son was missing. A grown boy, a grown man, a man that can drink, a man that can buy a gun, a man that can move freely without asking mommy and daddy's permission. And I want you to hear what a grieving mom sounds like when she's remembering her son. I think it's important.
I just want to reiterate how thankful we are for everyone.
And do you think she can control her emotions? Do you think she has a switch that says, "Oh, I'm in front of cameras, I got to pull it together"? Do you think that's how mommies can do it? I'm sorry, I haven't found a mommy that lost her child yet that doesn't, the wailing that comes out of their bodies. You know they lost their child. You don't even have to ask. You just know. Let's listen.
How much we appreciate everyone's support and love and prayers, because we feel them. We have felt every one of them. Every single one. I just ask that you mamas out there hug your babies tight tonight, please. Please, for me, just hug your babies tight tonight. And again, thank you. Thank you for sharing our story.
It gives me goosebumps and just tears me apart every time I see her face. She went out there. She made store owners stop what they were doing and look at their camera for her grown child, not her underage child. This is the fight of a mom for her grown child. And this is what we're getting from a underage child right there. I will always and continue to bring a magnifying glass to cases like this. I will not stop. There are things that have happened. We know that there are things that happen. Children just don't go poof gone. They just don't. Thank you, Pam. If you received your gifted Bullhorn Betty membership, please don't forget to tell Pam thank you. Welcome to this crazy crew we call the Coffee Club, i.e. the Insane Asylum. Okay. So,
You're a liar.
Liar.
Nice try, but you're a liar. Liar, liar, liar. Nice try, but you're a liar.
so I just think constantly going back and forth. You know what? You want to see a mom that grieves? Look at Michael Monkey Vaughn, Brandy Neal. That's a woman that has grieved for her son since the day he disappeared. You can see it all over her face. You can hear it in her words. These are the parents of missing children. Why can we not get that from this lady that's above my head right now? That's what I don't understand. Now, for all you battle axes out there that have been an amazing support system for Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers, thank you guys. I know we were just a little, we met our goal. I know that whatever it says above is not registering the goal, but we have met our goal here. So I am going to play you guys the song for you, because you guys are Sebastian's army. Let me get my little thing up. Hold on, I'm not there yet. Let me put my cover sheet on. Let me bring my cover sheet on. There we go. There we go. Now you guys can rock out. It's about 4 minutes, I think, 3 minutes and some seconds, but I think you guys will like it.
They crawl in shadows in the spiteful haze, whispering venom lost in a maze. They meddle with lives, play a twisted game, but we see the truth, call them by name. They think they own the spotlight's glare, fingers pointing as if they care, but Sebastian's army
to all of my beautiful Sebastian Army. You all rock. You're the reason why we can continue to fight and advocate for Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. It takes all of us. It takes more than a village. It takes the world to make and create change. But it all starts with one voice. Remember that. You are what makes this army great. You are what makes this possible. And you are the reason why it helps us get information to help aid in bringing Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers home. Guys, thank you for joining me today. I appreciate it. Again, it is 11:10. We will be on our show on the Bullhorn Betty Crime Stories show today at 12:30, going over other news. We are going to keep this channel open to our Sebastian, Dane, Crystal, and Brian Koberger. We've got a very, very large. Now we went kind of dormant. We didn't have a whole lot going on to everything kind of coming like a freight train at us. We've got a trial that's going to be going on with Crystal Rogers and Brian Koberger in 2025. So we got to keep our eye on them. And I've got a short time to get all of you up to snuff on these cases, especially the ones that have only found me since Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. We cover wild and crazy cases. We also advocate for the lost. So I also want to bring your attention to Dane Paulson. Dane Paulson has been missing from his home since March 1st. There is not a whole lot of information out there, except the mom and dad believe that law enforcement believes that he went into the water. We don't know. They're in a desolate area. If you guys watch Nancy Grace, she will go over some information about other cases. Her most recent story about this, she gives you examples of other cases that were out in the country where the children were taken from the front yard unbeknownst to their parents. And could this be? Law enforcement has not said that abduction is not here. They have not stated that. They believe this child is in the water, but they haven't removed an abduction as a possibility. Nobody knows where this boy is. So that's why we're advocating for him, because they're searching the water. We pray to God, because let's face it, the other reality is a lot more awful, right? We know in this sick environment that people don't snatch children except for very disgusting reasons. And because of that, no, it sounds awful, but I'd rather him be in the water than be subjected to that, either way, you're not looking very, very at good circumstances here. And both circumstances are grave circumstances. So we're going to keep showing his beautiful face on this show until we learn what happened to him. But the strong sense I'm getting from law enforcement that these parents had nothing to do with it, I'm not entertaining any theories at this point that lean to the parents are doing something. Usually I find something by now in their history, in their past, somebody leaking me something. I have nothing in this case that leans or gleans that the parents have any culpability and aren't just great parents. And that is super important, because we do a lot of these cases and that's not my initial findings. These are my initial findings. Those are subject to change depending on what facts come before us. But right now, it looks like, as VA is saying, worst nightmare ever. It is a parent's worst nightmare. You take your child, and not only that, but people can judge whatever you want to judge if it makes you feel that good. It's just different in desolate areas when it comes to your children. Okay? It just is. I know people, it's so easy. Well, we don't take our eyes off our children. When you're in the country and nobody's around, the last thing you're thinking of is your child being abducted or going to a river. Now, this was a grave mistake by the mom that she's going to forever have to blame herself for the rest of her life, no matter what the situation happens. But we are not here over accidents. We're not here to tear families' lives up over something like this. We are here for people that intentionally and willfully hurt somebody or have been so neglectful that this was going to be the ultimate outcome. Those are the things that we're not seeing in this case. And I'll be damned if I'm going to condemn a mom and a father in a situation like this where there's no evidence of willful or gross negligence. We've all taken our eyes off children that have been in our custody. Whether you want to acknowledge it or not, I can list a million times when I've seen other people in stores and having young children and turning their head while they're shopping or looking at a blouse. So it's so easy to forget when we do it, but we're not going to put them on a national platform and condemn them for a mistake that may have taken their child's life. That I'm not going to do. There has to be some moral standards on these platforms as well. We're here for intent. We're here for people that intentionally harm children. Other than that, we advocate for their safe return. That's what we do. We are true crime. We are not the accident police. Okay? I just want to make that loud and clear. Now, if something changes and it's starting to lean, we'll lean. But right now, we're not leaning. Okay? We will keep you guys apprised of any information related to this. Let me go and just do a quick check just to make sure no information has been released since we started the show. Nothing. It looks like the last few statements were made 16 and 19 hours ago. Guys, I really truly believe we're going to be in this holding pattern for a couple weeks. Okay, we're already through the first week. We got another week or so to go through. Things may change on the Bullhorn Betty channel if we don't see him coming to the surface. He's got to surface. If he's in that water, he has to surface. Okay. Now, I hope that they're not just concentrating on the area near his home, because if they truly believe that this child got into the water, he's much further down the stream. So they need to be getting further down the stream. They need to try to calculate as much as possible about, how fast something can move in that water. They need to take something like a 40-pound stick. I'm sure that they've got better ways than that. When you don't have any tools, you use the tools you have. Me, if I didn't have any tools, you know what I'm doing? I'm finding a stick that's about 35 to 40 pounds. I'm throwing it in the water and seeing where it goes. Right? You have to use what you have to problem solve. And so that's exactly what I would do. That would be my metrics, right? I'd throw it in. I test for 15, 30 minutes, an hour, if it's moving or how far it's moving, and start calculating that. That's, I use common sense when I'm out there. I don't have all these tools that these professionals have, but you know what? We do have tools. We have a way to get a metric. What about the white van? Thank you, Forrest. We knew about the gold car, which is kind of behind me. Let me move out of the way here real quick. So this gold car right here, I don't know if you guys can hear me. Let me turn my microphone up. Can you guys still hear me? Okay, so we have this gold car right here. This right here has been eliminated as a possibility through tips of the area. This has been eliminated. Now, what we did find out just recently is there was potentially a white van in the area. We don't have any make, model, or description of this white van other than probably a standard white van. Sorry, every time I move my seat, my hydraulics start going down on me. So there is a white van that's now potentially being circulated. As soon as I have any information on this white van, I promise you guys, I will get that out to you guys as soon as possible. If we can get a make, model, because there's white vans, right? We have Ford Ecolines, you got GMC, you got like every single, I think Dodge has a van. We don't know if it's like the Sprinter type vans or the traditional work vans. So we don't know if it's a bucket truck or a box truck rather. We don't know what kind of van it is. We're hearing a white van. White vans could be different. Those Sprinter vans are more boxy. The Econoline Ford vans are more curved, Oh, thank you. Aurora says, Betty does a good job and is fair. Thanks for covering this and letting people know what's up. Exactly. And I try to keep that fairness across. But when I'm onto something, I'm onto something. I'm like a dog on a bone. And that's one of my biggest assets and largest liabilities. You know, it's a double-edged sword, but it doesn't matter. I do what I think is right. I work within the confines of the law, and we make a difference and make an impact. Not only that, I am heavily involved in Florida politics. Now, I know that not every person in my chat has the appetite for my politics, and vice versa. But what we do is we're human beings first and foremost, right? That should be number one. We're all human beings. Secondly, we need the yin and the yang. I've always believed that. I've always stated that. My only purpose here in telling you what I do behind the scenes is to inspire you. If you have a voice, if you have a problem, I want you to see how you advocate for it. I don't just sit here on these platforms and complain. You guys have heard me say that many, many times. I don't like complaining. It's something it's a pet peeve of mine. If you got enough time to complain about a problem, you got enough time to sit around and try to figure out a solution for it, right? So I'm one of those action people. That means if I see a problem, I take action. Here in my community, in my county, there was action I couldn't take last year. That's why I sat last year out. I was having major problems with some of my county commissioners, and they weren't listening to the people that put them in office. They all lost their jobs. They've all been voted out, and now I'm back to work. I could not legislate for my county with the people in office. So what do? You step back because I don't need the stress of BS. I knew I'm going to hit a block wall when I get there. So what did I do? I changed my strategy from being up there and trying to have, help with policy. And now I have to start changing strategy and looking for replacements, right? And not only are you looking for replacements, but then you've got to find out what they're the good and the bad, and try to navigate that. And there's a lot of people in our groups around here that help bring the cream of the crop to the top, right? So I really do hope that all of you guys get in this county here. If you're in Siletz, I'd be getting on your board of county commissioners or your city council and start asking them for the necessary infrastructure in this community. It is very critical, and this is something that I'm going to pass out to all of you. If you guys are part of your politics or don't know how to get involved, just show up. That's the first and foremost. Speak from the heart. When you see something you don't like, say you don't like it. More importantly, we need all of our people that live in desolate areas and have crap internets to start going out to your county and state. We all have legislative sessions where we can talk to our voted politicians that are in the U.S. House and Senate and the Florida House and Senate and stuff like that. You want to be there, and you guys need to start pushing in these areas to have good internet infrastructure. It is a critical tool law enforcement needs. If we had critical infrastructure in this area, they could go and pull like phones and stuff and get and know who was passing through. Yeah, it's big brotherish, and you guys know me. I'm a privacy bunk, but it ain't. I'm also, life ain't fair. Okay, I get it. Life ain't fair, right? Life ain't fair. But I think if we're going to strip privacy away from half of our country, we need to strip privacy away from all of our country. I'm just saying, okay? When it comes to the internet, we all know we buy purchase things that track us. We know that it's Big Brotherish. We know that Bullhorn Betty loves privacy and not Big Brother. But in cases like this is a great crime-solving tool. Does it interfere with our privacy? Yes, but our privacy is already interfered with. So, unless they're planning on rolling back, what is it, 2001 law, the Patriot Act, this is the place where we're at. And if this is the place where we're at, let's make sure we can do the best with it. Yeah, get a Faraday bag. There you go. There you go. Those Faraday bags are pretty good. But most people don't use them. Most people don't plan their crimes. And the ones that do plan their crimes are thinking everything else but a Faraday bag, right? And not only that, but your vehicles. All vehicles, I think, past like 1999 or 2000 has a form of a computer in it. So most of our cars that we're driving on the streets today actually have a computer. And those computers can tell even the older cars that aren't as advanced as the newer cars, they can tell you what gear you're in, how long you've been in the car, and some can even tell you what speed you've maintained at for whatever time, right? Nowadays, they have the infotainment centers that literally can tell them your turn-by-turn directions and what you were doing inside the car, and it's a little crazy. I bet you if they really wanted to, they could probably learn exactly what you were listening to on the radio. I mean, I'm just saying, it's really Big Brother. I don't like our privacy being taken from us. But again, at the end of the day, China's already got us. You know, our privacy as we know it. I mean, granted, it takes court orders, but our government's watching us. So if they're going to watch me, I want them to watch the rest of people because, you know, a crime's going on when it's not circulating around Bullhorn Betty. Just saying. I'm just saying. All right, you guys get out of here. You guys go have a great day. God bless you, and we will see you around 12:30. I'm going to set it up now for you guys. So if you guys want to go over there in about 10 minutes and sign up for it, it's going to be, I might push it back because it's only giving me an hour to prepare and get everything set up. So I might push that back to like 12:30, 1 o'clock. All right, guys, I love you. Rock it out with your coffee beans out, and don't forget to be fearless. From the East Coast to the West Coast, we are everywhere true crime is. We are asking for the public's help. We are searching in the woods. We are doing what it takes here on the Bullhorn Betty channels to find answers to the most alarming cases we have been watching on the news. I can tell you personally that I have traveled this entire country seeking these answers and bringing that content right here to you here on the Bullhorn Betty channels and Bullhorn Betty Crime Stories. We are happy with the work that we've done. We brought many answers to the public, and we have defied mainstream media in our pursuit of the truth in these cases. We will continue to work, we will continue to fight for these victims, and we will continue to tell their stories here on my channels. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty brand of channels and the Coffee Club. Thank you for your love, thank you for your support, and more importantly, thank you for allowing me to bring these victims' stories to each and every one of you, advocating for each of these victims. God bless you, God bless America, and more importantly, God bless our victims.